Okay, welcome in. I'm now going to be reviewing all of Monday's action from the NHL. There are only 4 games on tap, so therefore it should be a very quick review. Two teams from the capital regions from both their countries. Obviously, Ottawa's the capital of Canada, Washington's the capital of the States. So these two teams are duking it out on Monday. Let's take a look and see how this game went. So in the first, Protus would kick things off for the Washington Capitals, getting his 5th goal of the year from Mantha and McMichael, 6 minutes and 30 seconds into that frame. Exactly 2 minutes after that, John Carlson would get a power play goal from Dylan Strome. For Carlson, that would be his 4th goal of the year, making it 2-0 in favor of the Capitals. With just under 10 minutes to go, 9 minutes and 48 seconds to be exact, Batherson would cut the deficit to 2-1, getting his 19th of the year from Brady Tkachuk and Pinto. Speaking of Pinto, he would go on the goal scorer sheet himself, getting his 5th of the year from Hamonic and Brady Tkachuk, and that goal happened with 7 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the frame. Max Pacioretty would get a power play goal late in that frame, 1 minute 27 seconds remaining, his 2nd of the season, assisted by Scarbasso and McMichael. Just 14 seconds after that, Mount Sinai would increase lead to 4-2, getting a 6th of the year from Protus and Abu Kebel, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly. So after 40 minutes of play, it was 4-2 in favor of the Capitals. After 20 minutes of play, I should say. In the second, Brady Tkachuk would get on the board, getting his 26th of the year from Tarasenko and Pinto, 1 minute and 27 seconds into that frame. Lapierre would increase the lead to 5-3, just 31 seconds after that, getting his 3rd of the year from Malestein and Ethan Bear. He would then get his 2nd goal of that period, and obviously the 2nd goal of the game, recording his 4th of the season, from Mantha and Protus. So at that point, it was 6-3 in favor of the Capitals. There was no scoring in the 3rd, and I'm sure if you're a Sens fan, you're probably thinking, thank God. So 6-3 would be the final score in favor of Washington. So with the victory, the Capitals are 27-20-9. They're still trying to chase for a playoff spot, but it's going to be very difficult to say the least. And as for the Ottawa Senators, they are 25-28-3. All right. Next matchup took place in Texas, where you have the Dallas Stars, and they were playing host to the New York Islanders. All right, let's take a look and see how this game went. So Pollock would kick things off for the Islanders late in that first period, with about 4 minutes remaining, recording his 4th of the season from Holmstrom and Cizikas. After 20 minutes of play, it was 1-0 in favor of Long Island. In the second period, Matt Duchene would tie the game up with a power play goal, getting his 23rd of the year from Harley and Stan Coven. McLean would score with just under 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes and 36 seconds to go, getting his 2nd of the season from Engvall and Pollock. Stan Coven would get his first NHL goal for the Dallas Stars, assisted by Wyatt Johnson, and that will happen with 1 minute and 43 seconds to go. So after 40 minutes of play, it was tied at 2. There was no scoring in the thirds, therefore we would need extra time, and 2 minutes and 54 seconds in the overtime period. Bo Horvat would get the game-winning goal, his 23rd of the year from Barzal and Mike Riley. So with the victory, the Islanders are 24-20-14. They're also, just like Washington, trying to chase for a playoff spot, but it's going to be difficult. As for the Stars, despite the loss to 35-16-9, they're still sitting first in that Central Division. All right. The next matchup took place in Edmonton, where we had two teams from the Pacific, and they were neck and neck in the standings, to say the least, as the Oilers were playing host to the Los Angeles Kings. All right, let's take a look and see how this game went. So in the first, Trevor Moore would kick things off for the Kings, getting his 22nd goal of the year from Byfield and Engelland. Zach Hyman would get his 38th goal of the 38th goal of the season, assisted by Connor McDavid, and that goal happened with just 24 seconds remaining on the clock. After 20 minutes of play, we were all tied up at 1. In the second frame, 7 minutes and 34 seconds into that period, Lafayette would get his 8th goal of the season, assisted by Kopitar and Matt Roy. Draisaitl would tie the game up with a power play goal, his 29th of the season from Bouchard and Nugent Hopkins, and that goal happened with 4 minutes and 4 seconds remaining on the clock. So after 40 minutes of play, we were all tied up at 2. In the third period, Evan Bouchard would notch his 15th goal of the season, giving the Oilers a 3-2 lead, assisted by Draisaitl and McDavid in a minute and 25 seconds into that frame. Nugent Hopkins would increase the lead to 4-2 with 3 minutes and 29 seconds to go. For Nuge, that would be his 16th of the season from Connor Brown and Janmark. So the Oilers would be victorious. 4-2 would be the final score. So with that, the Oilers are 34-20-2, still sitting third in that Central Division, but now they have a few points up. Now they're at least two. Now they're a few points up on the Kings. Despite the loss, the Kings are still in that first wildcard spot in the West, 29-18-10. All right, the last matchup from Monday took place in Seattle, where we had the Kraken playing against the Boston Bruins. All right, let's take a look and see how this game went. So in the first, David Pastrnak will get his 37th goal of the year from Shattenkirk and Boqvist, 5 minutes and 53 seconds into that frame. Eberle would tie the game up in the second with a power play goal of his own, 4 minutes and 45 seconds into that frame. Pastrnak would get his second goal of the game, his 38th of the season, assisted by Zacha and McAvoy, and that goal happened with 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. After 40 minutes of play, it was 2-1 in favor of the Bruins. Vince Dunn would tie the game up at 2 in the third period, getting his 11th goal of the season from Burakovsky and Yanni Gourde, and that goal happened 5 minutes and 29 seconds into the frame. Bjorkstad would give the Kraken a 3-2 lead with 5.5 minutes to go. That would be his 14th of the season from Borgen and Wenberg. The Bruins would have a late power play, and Charlie Coyle would capitalize, getting his 21st goal of the season from Pastrnak and Brad Marchand with 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. We were all tied up at 3. We wouldn't need extra time to decide a winner in this one. There was no scoring in the overtime frame. We would need a shootout to decide a winner, and Kyler Yamamoto would get the game-winning goal for Seattle. 4-3 would be the final score. So with that, the Kraken are 25-22-11. And they're trying to fight for a playoff spot, but just like any team this late in the season, it's not going to be easy. As for the Bruins, despite the overtime or the shootout loss, they're 34-12-14. They still have first place in the Atlantic Division. All right, that takes care of my recap from Monday. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.